Hello and welcome to my shop. This is Jim Dedman, Sawlogs Plastic Hubs. Hope you enjoyed today's video. We'll be doing something interesting, so hang around, let's have fun. This is an import keyless chuck, and I've seen on somebody's video where they had a spanner wrench fit into the pins. Well, you know, I'm a bit of a, I'm gonna say tight. I'm gonna say, again, I have more time than money. So on my list over there on the wall's been a while to make some spanner wrenches. So the spanner wrench that I need to make, and they're simple to make, so I thought I'd bring you along and let you see what we're doing. Okay. I've been out in my scrap pile this morning and doing some measuring and whatnot, and then I discovered I have a piece of material here. Again, my material choices a lot of times tied into what I'm working with. In this particular case, this is another piece of a soft auxiliary counter shaft from Eaton. So this lathe is going to be a little cold this morning, and it's always a little crooked, obviously, this piece of stock. So what we're going to do is take a little light facing cut, clean the face up. This is pretty close to the correct OD. So all we're going to do right now early this morning is just take a little very light facing cut, and then we're going to go across the OD and we're going to clean it up. And then we're going to drill and bore a hole close to the size with a reasonable degree of accuracy. We don't really need to be, as the old saying, dead nut here. We just need to be somewhere close. So this is the facing operation you're seeing. And the only critical size is, first of all, you just want to make sure you got enough wall. So what I'm going to do is just skin this here. I'm just going to whack the roll. Well, I'll tell you, it shows you how much of a dummy I am this morning. Push the levers the wrong way. I'm not wanting to slow down much. I will when I get ready to drill. So with 8620, you have to take kind of light cuts unless you just gear down to hog it. I mean, some of the things you see me make. And you can tell right there, you can hear it. This harder material, it takes a little more out of it. Okay. Now I've got a piece of stock. It's cleaned up and it's round. It doesn't really matter how much I took off of it. And so what we're going to do here is I'm going to get my stuff together. And well, while I'm on here talking, and it's just something, because it's always keep them right here on a magnet, is we're going to go ahead and we'll center drill it. And for you, let's just fire it right on up. That's where these longer handles come in, and I know I've had some comments on videos in the past about the danger of the longer handle. Well, it's not that you torque on it. You had to tighten the short ones so much to keep them from moving, especially on larger drills. That it's a real PETA. So let's just kind of work from there. We've got her down to about 320. We're going to go in about 3/4 of an inch here with drill. This is a 1/2 inch drill, by the way. And because all we're going to do is basically drill and bore out. We're just going to actually make a ring, what we're doing. And since this is something that's not mission critical on the measurements, we just took us a marker on this short first drill, took us a scale and just a bit of a Sharpie mark, and we're drilling it out. We don't want this to be that wide when we finish, actually. Okay. So there's that piece. Then we've got to drill a hole bigger. All right, now I'm going to go in here, and we're going to take us a bore. We're going to bore the rest of it out boring bar. And I've went ahead and I've selected a boring bar and I've set a bottom to it. So I'm going to bore it. If you can see in there, it's a little flat to be bored. Now let me get my numbers and I'll be right back, and we'll bore some more out. I'm going to show you a couple of bores here. We're going to have to bore over an inch, pretty close to an inch out of this. When you don't have a lot of drills, you know, first of all, I got a smaller lathe, so that means I don't have a lot of drill size to work with, so you got a lot of boring to do. So I thought I'd do about 3 passes here. And then we'll bring you back when we get up closer to size, because this is rather boring. Okay, I thought I'd bring you back for a couple more roughing passes. That's not really a roughing pass. That's just one I say spring pass, but there's an awful lot of spring in these boring bars, and there's a lot of material that comes out of this. Probably a better choice for something like this if you had it, with some sort of, maybe if you had some thick-walled tubing-like stuff, would probably be a really good choice for this. But since I don't have it, I'm sort of limited to working with what I have, and what I have is a piece of material. The one that's got enough outside diameter to it is this piece of 8620, which wouldn't really necessarily be my first choice for this, I will tell you that. But one thing about this particular material, it's pretty tough stuff. I mean, and with it being tough like this, it's really good to bore back and clean up and make some good material out of. Alright. So, let's check the size. We're looking for right a little over 2 inches, 100 thousandths. So we are pretty darn close. Now we're about, we like probably, let me check for sure, but we like a little less, we're just a little shade under 2 inches right there, about 1 inch 950, so hang loose. Okay, so I'm within about 80 thousandths right now, so I'm gonna, and if I'm off a little, this is not the world ending thing here neither. So, you know, if I miss it by 5 or 10 thou, I'm not really hurting. Because all I'm wanting is like a ring close. You want it close. Now I'm doing the biggest diameter actually, so. Now I want it just. All right. I mean, this is something heat doesn't affect. So I'm really basically looking for around 2 inches, 100 thousandths. I'm right on what the size is now, basically. So I like about 20 more. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to finish more of this thing. I want this thing to be fairly slick inside these. Again, it doesn't matter that much. I'm going to take about 20 more out, 5,000 steps. Backbore it out this way. And let's see what we got. And if we're pretty close to what I'm looking for, now you see if you had a piece of tubing or something would be ideal. You can see from what I'm working with that a piece of tubing would be the ideal situation. I'm going to go back and rebore this again. Yeah, that's a little over. Now I'm going to go back and put a little oil in it and just slick it up with no tool pressure. And that'll give us our ring that we want. Oh, that's what that was. Sometimes if all this material gets in there, I'm more or less now working on a finish. If it's a little big, I don't really care. Yeah, it looks pretty good. We're going to leave it just like that. That'll give us what we want. I'll have to do a little internal deburring here in just a bit. In fact, that's kind of what we need off the lathe right now, because all the rest of it's going to be drilling and putting pins in and screws. Hey, one of the challenges, something round and this big sometimes, just being able to get down to it. So what I decided to do to find the exact center is to use a 1/4 inch rod and call that Y0, and then just move over, and you just have a piece of paper where I can be somewhat consistent. And we're off a hair. This is just going to be a screw mount and a, so this way. And I want it flat enough so I've definitely past center, obviously. And then I'm going to touch this piece of paper here. And then I'm just going to use my half function. And then I'm in center. I'm basically the same way of doing it this way instead of using an edge finder because of the diameter being so hard to get to. It's just something that makes a little more sense to me. All right, now what I've done more or less here, I'm gonna drill 2 holes, basically 180 degrees out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna attempt to do here, is take my 1/4 20 and drill it first. My number 7 drill for 1/4 20. And if I'm successful with what I'm trying to do here, I want to drill it, and more or less I want to drill it so I can rotate this thing 180 degrees. Instead of rotating it 180 degrees, my real plan is to try to drill it all the way through, straight through. just like this. This is going to be the smaller of the two holes. If I'm successful at this, there. The pinhole's got to be smaller. We'll have to drill it for the pin, which is a little different that we're going to use. So to be able to, and it worked right out. So that way I can rotate this around 180 degrees and take this number 7 drill and line it back up. So this will be 180 degrees apart. So that's the plan. All right, I'm going to tap the 1/4-20 hole and power tap it. This I got out my little bench bottle because it's easier to reach. But that's still the reason I wanted to make that the other day, is to have what I call a bench bottle. This is the handle. It'll be made out of 1/4-20. I'm gonna make it out of 1/4-inch drill rod actually. Okay. So there that is. Let me cut the camera off and we'll line everything. Now you'll see what I've done. More or less, I've just loosened it up, tucked the drill, placed the drill in it. Hopefully this will pull. And see, well, see, that's what I want to do. It's not perfect, it doesn't matter. But that's going to get me in the neighborhood. And that was what the plan is. Again, this isn't got to be the ultimate precision. You just want to be close to 180 degrees apart. So now I've got to figure out what to drill this pin for. So I'll get back to you. Okay, this is a number 2 drill, which is 221. Since this is a spring pin, I want it to be tight. So let me get it out of back gear. Tap it. And let's just drill it now. Okay. So we should be good for that. Now we're going to cut this off, go back to the lathe. Okay, this is my saw fixture, and this is one of the ways I set it up. And see, I've got this tightened. So this is one of the things it's really good for, is work like this. So we know I'm going to go for, I'm going to face it off, and I'm going to put me a mark. Make sure I got enough. Well, clear the. Okay, so I want to make sure I clear the fixture. So that's, right at the edge of that's the 1/2 inch. So so when I put it in, I'm going to turn it around this way because it actually goes in the saw this way. And we'll take it and we'll mark it right from the edge of the part. Basically, it's going to have to line it right along here. And we're going to face it off, but what we're doing is making sure we got all the clearances we need. And then we'll pull the saw out. I'll turn you around in a second. All right, there we go. This is the last, right at the end of the cut. And you'll see what, it's just going to fall off. All right, see, this will face off, so this be good. But you see, this way sure saves a lot of work. You just heard the piece hit the floor. Now all I'm going to do right here is grab my wrench I keep handy for this purpose, give it a couple of twists, and over the lathe we go to make it what we need. Now all we're going to do now is just face it down. I'm taking some light cuts and I'm holding on very much. I've got the spider in there kind of holding it in place. So I don't have a lot to grab to, so I got to take light cuts. So I might back up and take a little more here, but not much. There, I'm through. Now all I got to do is measure this and see what I need, how much I need to take off. So, and you'll have to excuse me. Oh, there's the calipers. Sorry, I got a gap here I can work with. So, I like about 100 thousandths. So, I want this about 400 wide. So we can't take much off at a time. So again, I just don't have the greatest hold to this as I'd like to. So I'm just got me an indicator so I can kind of keep track. So I'm going to take about 40 and see how that works. You know, that spider shift that is making the lathe bounce even at this 360 speed. So. I'm going to have to make me a new spotter. That's all there is to it. So I should be within 20 right there. So we'll see. Give it a quick check, see. If I'm close, I'm not going, if I ain't gonna be exact 400, but hey, that's 410. That's close enough for me. Anyway, so this is a space piece that's going to be this is going to be the ring for the pins and stuff right here. So this will be the piece that the ring, the pins, and all that fits on. So we'll check this out. Oh, I forgot to do something. Let me kind of see if I can grab this and catch it in the file or something. I'll bring you back. I'm just to just do things the hard way. This doesn't have to be exactly accurate. So we want to just get this excess off so we can move the ring around. There'll be some belt sanding done to this too, so the best thing to do is just take the hacksaw here and hold it in the saw vise jaw and just give it a quick saw into try to clamp. It's better to power saw it, obviously, but sometimes you can't do everything you want. Okay, so what we're doing, we're just sort of eyeballing this. Will allow us about 1/4 inch or so for holding, so we mount everything up to it. This is all by eye anyway. This is basically a little strap, and it should be strong enough because first of all, it's a pretty heavy alloy, 8620. Secondly, we're not cranking on this, you know, like if we were really cranking on it, we could probably would indeed leave some more wall, but hopefully this will be strong enough. Try not to let it fall and hit the floor, so I won't have to bend over. Let me work on this in a bench. I hope you enjoyed the video. So let's put a disclaimer out of the way. This video is my idea how to do things. It's not the only way. So I hope you enjoyed it today. The other thing, comments are always welcome. Please take the time, if you feel so inclined, to make a comment on my videos. Also, I appreciate all my subscribers, the new ones and the new ones. And finally, the other disclaimer. This is a copyrighted production of James Dedman, Sawlogs Plastic Hubs, for your enjoyment on YouTube. Thank you. Have a great day, and we will see you in the next video.